All right, it's indeed a very, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Tackle. It is the 15th of November 2021, tarehe 15 mwaka ni mwezi wa 11 mwaka 2021. We're coming to you live from Eldoret City, the city of champions, and we're coming with the Common Sense edition. This morning is coming from Eldoret City of Champions. Kama uko karibu na sisi hapa Rupa Mall, coming to you live as you can see behind me. We're coming to you live from Rupa Mall, Rupa Fitness Mall. Hapa kuna studio yetu Big Africa Studios. We have a fitness center that's running as well. There's a lot of pretty nice things that you can come and witness here at the Rupa Fitness Center. So we're coming to you live from this place, Rupa Fitness Center, and some of the things that have been highlighted as some of the activities that you can undertake here. We have Big Africa Studios, we have a Big Lenses Studio, we have eHub Gaming Zone. Wale watu ambao wanapenda mchezo kidogo ya computer, we have eHub Gaming Zone. We have also Big Africa DJ Academy. If you want to be a DJ, you want to be the best DJ in town, you only need to come to Rupa Fitness Center, to Big Africa DJ Academy. We also have an heated swimming pool. Ukiona pale chini yako, there's a very beautiful swimming pool that you can come in and train. If you love swimming or you want to train to be a swimmer, you can come in here. You'll have your training done. Also, if you're a fitness freak, you can come in here, the fitness center, unakuja kufanya mazoezi yako, alafu basi unaweza kuwa na afya nzuri zaidi. Tuko hapa na IRENE Wanjiku kama kawaida, CEO REXE Roofing. Good morning to you, IRENE. Now you can run. Now you can run. Asante sana. Thank you so much. All right, so I request that when you join in, please like. When you like, we get to know that you're watching us as usual, and after you like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to watch the broadcast. Tuko na wageni pia on the panel. You're waiting for the time to I'll be able to introduce them shortly. Lakini kama kwa please, when you join in, like. When you like, we get to know that you're watching us, and after you like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to watch the broadcast. Kama kawaida, lazima tuombe, alafu basi tukirudi na kuja kuona na wagano maamuka, nikiintroduce pia panel yangu hapa ambayo iko na sisi hapa asubuhi ya leo. I think they are already they are ready for introduction. Worship. Wageni wako tayari. Pigo introduction. Okay. Sawa. Done. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning.
Asante sana. This is Dan. Hapa ni nyumbani. Haya, asante sana Dan, CEO D Square. Where? Asante sana. Thank you so much for welcoming us. Na utatukaribisha na kakitu.
Yeah, we have
cannot have our juice, but I cannot have our juice. Chemkore LAGAT, Patricia.
Yes, hello. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine.
Ni mkulima wa kisasa. Habari ya HORTIGRID?
Si mbaya sana. Yeah, we're in the process of expanding, restructuring because of the COVID epidemic. And I think that's why we're here, and I'm very happy to be here today. Thanks for hosting us.
Asante sana. Thank you so much. Let's go and let's pray. Nani ako na nguvu ya kutuombea leo? Dandan alikuwa kanisa jana, si kuenda. Dandan hebu tuombe. Thank you so much. Wherever you are, we're still telling you that juice ni Orchid Valley too. There's no other juice. Juice ni Orchid Valley by Peptang, by also 100% natural, no added sugar. Kama uko pale unataka kwenda supermarket, you can go and get any supermarkets around you, any main supermarkets around you. You can get this Orchid Valley in different flavors: mango flavor, there's apple flavor, there's an orange flavor as well. You get a range of products when you get to buy juices from House of Peptang, Orchid Valley. From also, and also there are offers that are running. Ukienda pale Quick Mart in Eldoret, down there, the main Quick Mart, we're having an offer on recharge hour, 77 shillings only for 200 ml, and also 500 ml retailing at 127. So kimbia pale Quick Mart, kuna offer safi sana za recharge hour, alafu basi hakikisha kwamba afya yako inakuwa safi zaidi. Orchid Valley juice ndio Orchid Valley, to must have House of Peptang. Pia kulipa madeni haraka upesi. Kama unajenga, as usual, we are telling you that you can only trust REXE Roofing to roof your wall, or to roof your roof. You only get to do your roof once in your lifetime. Mwezi rudia kila siku unaweka mabati ingine kwa paa. You can only do it once. And we also have good news for you. The reason why you're also coming live from Eldoret is because we have a lot of big things coming for people from Eldoret. We're going to have a branch soon for REXE Roofing. You get to access your products, quality roofing shingles, stone coated tiles, and UPVC water harvesting gutters. You'll be able to access them here in Eldoret. You'll not be able to order them from Nairobi anymore. So to Eldoret, habari njema kwenu. IRENE is here, and she's going to bring in the branches coming in very soon. REXE Roofing roofs your wall, kimbia pale www.rexeroofing.com, alafu basi uweze kupata a range of products that you can get there. Quality roofing shingles in very different profiles. Na kama pia you are a contractor ama any architect, we still in Eldoret until evening. So if you still want to have a conversation with us around your project, if there's something you're building, you want to negotiate with us, you can look for us. Bado tuko dunia hii. Ukikuja hapa Eka Hotel ukiuliza utatupata hapa, so that we can be able to tell you how best to move forward with your roof. Na pia the people who make sure that we're always looking as good as we do is Dan from this square. Thank you so much for always partnering with us and for ensuring that we're always looking sharp. Yeah, tunakaa ni kama tuko na pesa kama ni kidogo. Asante sana. Thank you so much Dan for always making us look as good as we are. So kama pia unataka kukula mngaro kama vile tumekula, kimbia pale this square where Ketia building 4th floor, basi uweze kuhakikisha kwamba unapata nguo safi zaidi. You get to look your best. Wanasema dress to be addressed, this square dress to be addressed. Ketia building 4th floor, basi mambo yako inakuwa shwari zaidi. I want to remind you again that we are coming to you live from Rupa Fitness Center here in Eldoret at the Rupa shopping mall. We're coming to you live from Rupa Fitness Center. Tuko hapa na facilities that are available. Big Afric Studios. If you are recording, if you are a recording artist, you can come in here. We'll ensure that your song comes out as crisp as it is. Alafu pia tuko na Big Lenses Studio, another studio again production. Hub Gaming Zone. Kama wewe ni watu wa game kidogo computer games, kimbia pale Hub. Big Afric DJ Academy. If you want to be the best DJ in town, kuja hapa Big Afric DJ Academy. Very beautiful place. I was moving around yesterday and I could not believe that there is such an investment in the city of champions. Thank you so much for the investment that you're putting in Eldoret. Pia kuna swimming pool hapa. Nimeona mimi mwenyewe ile maji naweza kaa karibu naye ya kikombe na ya ndoo. Lakini kama unapenda maji ku swim, please you can come in here. The swimming pool is heated, so you can swim anytime, even at night. Basi mambo ndio hivyo. Acha nione wangonagana waamuka hapa asubuhi hii. Leo ndio tuingie kazi haraka upesi. Emmanuel Serem, good morning bro, good morning to my brother. Anasema ndo Moses Kebenej Ganet kutana Eldoret. Jeptab Kibiri Rezona Serem, Isaac Serem, Langa Geoffrey morning from Kisumu. Lefty Dennis, good morning. Tackle, good morning to you. Ngobisa iko kama Lotando. Good morning Tackle, good morning. Naona Ngenjeri, good morning, tuned in from Kisumu. Key Love, good morning Bitok. Good job Bitok for hosting these guys. Thank you so much. Kiprobet watching you from Shokimau, good morning. Koima Moses, good morning. Tackle watching from 027. Jeremiah Kiprop, Jeremy from Eldoret. Balosi Eric Meja, happy birthday to the best ever Kenyan president, Emilio Mwai Kibaki. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Leon Maxwell Kilach, tuned in from Cherangani constituency. Kiprop Bet, anasema we can't hear Dan. Worship. Joseph Lenmanget Jack Dan audio at Tirop IK niko hapa Jim, salimia the gurus Dan and Patricia. Karibu sana Jim Gakio, good morning. Elias Komukor, sauti ya Dan iko chini sana. Kiprobet Jackie's microphone. Tirop watu governor amesema sauti ya iko. Kila Gerald work on sound for them to be more audible. We can hardly hear them. Jeremiah Kiprop, the voice of CEO Dan Square. Iko ajekorit kutona kuona. Nasema check Dan's mic. Asante sana, please. Check Dan's. Meanwhile, tutaingia haraka upesi kazini. Na I'll start with you, Irene.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for coming in to Eldoret, and also for believing in this market.
Yeah.
That you can actually invest your money and get it back. So maybe you can introduce yourself once again. It's never enough to introduce yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm IRENE, WANJIKU, CEO, REXE Roofing. Currently, we have our branch in Nairobi, but yes, I decided to come and see how this great city is doing, and it's really, really impressive. I've seen some major construction going on here, and really the quality of construction is top notch. So it's exciting to be here, and soon we'll be also on the ground. We've heard what the ground is saying, and that's why we want to come here and be part of this great movement. So yeah.
Okay, umesikia ground inasemaje? But now even business people are listening to the ground.
Yeah, actually we had a very good session the other day with some great construction consultants, some quantity surveyors, architects in the industry, contractors, and they are telling us that they already knew, in fact some already knew us, it's just that they didn't know whether we would be interested in being in this region. And so the welcome has really been outstanding, and yeah, that's why we want to be here and make great things happen together. We are also champions in the roofing industry. We have some great, and we also do have some projects here done at Elgon View Estate, and we also have some great projects across the country. And now it's time to be also in the home of champions.
You've forgotten to specify that they knew about it on the tackle. You being mean.
Yeah, it's nice to be also on the tackle show.
Well, walisema tulikuwaona, we saw you on the tackle.
Yeah, because the tackle really, if you're an entrepreneur, I have to say, even during this crisis, I know today we'll be talking about crisis and managing crisis in the and running businesses in the face of crisis. Remember, you still must market, you still must advertise, and I think that the tackle show is one of the best places to get yourself known and to get your products and services out there. So yeah, it's working for us, and it can work for you too.
All right, thank you so much, Irene. That's Irene from CEO REXE Roofing. So the people of Eldoret, good news to you. Very soon will be coming. The products will be coming to you. Also, the products will be coming to you live from Eldoret. You'll be able to access your products from REXE stores, and there are also more partners that are coming on board. So you'll be able to get a wide range of construction products at the best rates, the best prices, and also best quality, direct from the source. Hakuna uboroka katikati. Aya. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Salama sana.
Yeah.
So I also want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, what you do, biashara yako unafanya nini.
Okay. So as you heard, my name is Patricia LAGAT. I'm based here in the City of Champions. I run a business called HORTIGRID Limited, where we offer extension services for farmers in horticulture. This is private extension services. We're basically complementing what the government is doing. But for us, we are more farmer oriented, and we customize solutions for the farmer. And most importantly, we whereby we're trying to encourage more farmers to take up on these high value vegetables and fruits that are meant for the export and other niche markets. Yes. Okay. So we work with a team of agronomists whose role is to do the technical work. I'm just the team leader. Yeah, it has been a journey of a lot of, self-discovery, learning to work with farmers. And myself, I'm a farmer too, because that's where I started from. Yes, and over time, we've realized there's a gap and we need to fill, guide farmers to make very informed decisions for production all the way to marketing.
Okay. Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for the last 6 years, although it has been dynamic, changes here and there. We started with a very basic rudimentary form of this, but now we are advancing, whereby we're now applying technology. We came up with something called, we're still working on it though, the Lima Smart System, whereby we can be able to serve from Kenya. And with that, we are in the process of recruiting network of agronomists across Kenya to offer the same services. Yeah, so that we're able to touch each and every farmer in the nation. Okay. Yeah, not only in the North Rift region.
Right. So what are your scope of works and expertise?
Yes, our scope of work is basically from enterprise planning. Okay. You have a piece of land. Most of the questions I get are, hey, I have 10 acres. What do I do with it? So that's where we come in. We give you a plan. We take your soil for analysis to the lab. Then from there we're able to give you a very informed report, like with this kind of soil you're able to do this and that. And we're not only advising you not to produce, we also look at the production ecosystem. Where is the market, where is this and that. Yeah, so by the time a farmer takes on that enterprise, we have it back to back from management all the way to the market. We do what we call market led production advisory. So you just don't produce and then at the end of the day you're like, I'm looking for a market. No, we work in reverse. Here are the markets available for you, and this is what you can do at your farm. Okay. That is in the field of horticulture specifically, just in case someone gets it wrong. We are not in dairy, we are not in poultry, we are in fruits and vegetables, horticulture. Yes.
So what are the different sections? Because also when you say you're in agriculture, for me, agriculture is agriculture. So when you talk about all those other sides, you're saying it's not it's only horticulture, it's not trade and those. What are the scopes? What are the different sectors of agriculture, or sectors of farming?
Okay, I'll just take you through them. Okay, there's dairy, that I'm sure each and every person in the North Rift is familiar with dairy. Yeah. That's animals for milk, yes. And then we have beef, that's animal for meat, yes, which also includes matters like the rearing of pigs and so on. Then we have poultry, that's chicken for eggs and for meat. Those are two different things. Then we have beekeeping, that is bees for honey. And then we go to horticulture now, where we are in, that is fruits and vegetables. And then of course there's floriculture, which is about flowers, which is kind of beyond our scope. Yes, so there are different sectors. As we've decided to narrow down on horticulture, because we realize even on a quarter of an acre someone can do something. Yeah. And it's 3 months, 4 months, 6 months you start realizing returns. So that's one field that when I got into horticulture, I felt was like a quick returns kind of a sector, with minimal investment. Although nowadays with the entry of greenhouses and other forms of agriculture, of course it can be intensive. but the returns are worth it. So horticulture, fruits and vegetables.
All right. Thank you so much. Dan, I hope you're ready. Bado, Dan bado hajakuwa tayari. Okay. I think we'll go back to. I'll want to come back to Irene. I'll come back to you. And we were talking about running a business in terms of crisis. You've been running your business. Actually, congratulations. Your REXE Roofing just turned 10. It's older than all of us here. So, because I'm running a business for 10 years, it's never easy. Even running a business for 1 year. In Kenya, they say your license, your KNCC license, lives longer than your business. Biashara inafunganga mapema kama license bado iko. So pongezi sana for running a business that is turning 10, and thank you so much as well for always partnering with us. And you've run the business through crisis. I'm pretty sure for you it's been through many crises, because for 10 years I'm sure there have been many phases of crisis within the running of business. But now you're 10, and we're happy that you're 10. What does it take to run a business in terms of crisis?
Yeah, you're right. First, thank you so much. We really had like a celebration also with our team, because yeah, it's not really that easy to be able to say that we've done this now for the last 10 years. I remember when before I even go to the crisis question,
Yes.
I recall some times back, because our workmanship guarantees are actually 10 years. And when we were just beginning in the year 2011, some clients would ask us, you're telling us that your workmanship guarantee is 10 years, but you're 1 year, so how do we know?
And you'll still be there in 10 years.
How do we know you'll even be there? And we know that the lifespan of businesses, especially startups, is 3 to 5 years. And so now, I hope you're watching, because I would like to say, yeah, your workmanship guarantee is safe and it's secure.
Alive and kicking.
Yeah, so I think for me this is like the greatest moment, and what I enjoy most is that we've been able to walk the journey and to be able to maintain what we said that we are here to do. Now, crises have been many. Of course, during that season, we've had also elections, with now having the pandemic. And I did realize that for most people, when crises come, especially entrepreneurs and business leaders, some of them, they tend to get really, of course, overwhelmed, because you're dealing with something that you hadn't planned for. Crises are always, of course, emergencies in nature, and so it's easy to get distracted. But I do recall when we got especially like the elections, at least those ones, now we could project what was going to happen, and we are hoping, of course, for better economic environment in the next year. But when it came something like COVID, I recall everyone was worried. We hadn't faced a pandemic before. And so for me, the first thing was to worry about my people, the team that we had. Because without the team, then you're nothing. I'm like now today I'm here in the city of Champions, the home rather of Champions, I guess. But the business is still running. Imagine if I didn't have a team, then it would mean that my clients in Nairobi would be locked out. And so I think for me as an entrepreneur, the first thing I had to think about was, of course, my people, and to instill some hope, because it's not just about the technical skills that we need as leaders or as business owners. You also need to be able to inspire some hope for the team, so that comes first.
Okay.
And I think that for me is really what worked, because everyone was like, we go to work, we close our doors, and of course listening also to what the World Health Organization and our leaders here were talking about in terms of how to mitigate the issues that were there. So we were able to, I would say, to still continue with the business. The sites were still running, and I feel that I have to commend Kenyans that most of the clientele that supported us during this time were actually homeowners, as opposed to just having most of the commercial projects seems to have taken a break, but homeowners were really supportive, and I think people realized now there was need to own their home. They remembered they had some land somewhere, and now that they were not traveling, so they had some spare cash, and were able to put all this together.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I see also people are saying Irene's mic is low, so please fix that, worship. Angalia your rako pesi. Please fix that. I want to remind you, coming to you live from Rupa Fitness Center. Rupa Fitness Center coming live from Rupa Fitness Center. This is a common sense edition of the tackle on the 15th of November 2021. We're coming to you live from Eldoret, the city of champions, and we are with Irene Wanjiku, CEO, REXE Roofing, Dan, CEO, D Square Wear, and also we are with LAGAT, MD, HORTIGRID Limited, and appear kuna kazi ametuambia inaitwa sijui mvua pap, sijui mvua inanyesha kutoka wapi. unaweza tuambia kidogo, but I want to go to matters agriculture and horticulture. Now it's a planting season again in Rift Valley. It's coming up shortly. I was seeing the prices of fertilizers are actually crazy. What is the state of farming?
Okay, now where do I start from?
From the beginning.
From the beginning. Let me start from the fertilizer point, because that's an ongoing crisis. We saw prices for fertilizer going up to like 5,000 shillings a bag, and that's DAP. We haven't even gone to their NPK, CN, and so on. In the past, I think there was government subsidies, something that is no longer there. Some people say it's politically inclined, but I don't want to get into that. But from what I know, the fertilizer price crisis is nothing local. It's actually global. Because of COVID, there was a global problem with the sourcing and the manufacturing of fertilizer, that is from the raw material and so on. There's a whole narrative behind that. And it has trickled down to us in sub-Saharan Africa to mean higher fertilizer prices. Of course, the best that the government can do for us probably is about taxation. If they can find a way of reducing the taxes on fertilizer, it will make sense, because it's one of the key pillars to matters food security in this country. I hope the president is listening somewhere. Please.
Part of the Big Four agenda.
Yeah, Big Four agenda. Reduce the taxes for fertilizers. Probably it will help our farmers. But anyway, that is just one challenge. We have seen climate change over the last 3 years. Things have not been the same. And again, because of COVID, a lot of people went back into agribusiness.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a new crop of people getting into matters agriculture. That is, people who have an income opting to do something we call a side hustle in the field of agriculture, which has, it's two-way. Yeah? It has kind of boosted the industry, because now there is a new crop of people who are able, who do not need government and so on to be able to do agribusiness. But at the same time, it has offset the normal ecosystem that farmers are used to. And that's why we see overproduction of stuff. We see reduction in prices of selling prices. So potatoes the other day were being sold from the farm at 500 shillings per bag. We had a glut. Everybody, even you, Gerald, I'm sure you sent money home somewhere. Mudipandi of yours. So we saw a glut of that kind. Then with climate change, the weather has been so erratic. Things that we used to do at particular times of the year, we're no longer doing them at that time. I was in Ukambani just over the weekend. They're still waiting for the rains. Rains that they say should have come like 2 weeks ago. People have planted. As far as Oloitoktok, people have already planted and seeded things waiting for the rain. So you see, while in the North Rift you experience too much rain, in other places in Kenya people are having a shortage of rain. So there's a lot of challenges that farmers are facing at the moment. We can say it's a crisis in itself, from cost of inputs, changing weather patterns, new entrants into the field that are offsetting the demand and supply of stuff. And there's also a global shift. We were not able to sell most of our produce. I remember sometime last year, I went to visit a farmer in Kerio Valley, one of our clients, Mr. Kiplagat. He normally does mangoes, large scale, but he wasn't able to export this year because the mangoes had suffered the effects of the weather. So, and then we also had about the avocado crisis.
Yes.
People are saying, of course, it was a bit misguided, where they are saying Kenya has banned the exportation of avocados. No, which is not right. In an effort to make a quick kill, farmers are now trying to sell produce before they ripen enough. So we are facing like some form of a punishment from the global markets, which is now translating to a ban within the country. So all these things, these are things that farmers need to be cognizant about, and that's what I came up with a term called the farming ecosystem. We need to understand the farming ecosystem before we get into this thing. So there's a lot of challenges, but I'm sure we'll get to them. Yes.
And I would want to know, I don't know if we are ready to roll up DJ Worship. I don't know if we are ready to roll up to other guests. You ready to go back to Irene? Alright, you like me when you are ready. I also want to know, Patricia.
Yeah.
What could be the state of an average farmer? What is the state of an average farmer?
The state of an average farmer?
Yes.
The average farmer.
Just a normal farmer who wakes up to till and do maize, not for business, not with technology. You're saying, what is the state of an average farmer?
Most average farmers do not do. Yeah, most average farmers do not do. They do not practice agriculture as a business. They do it as a tradition. I'm supposed to grow. It's time for planting. I need to have a few cows. I need to have a few sheep. We're just doing it so it's like a culture. That's why it's called agriculture. But the average farmer is yet to move to agri-business, whereby you consciously decide to invest in something with the hope of making a return. And that's why we hear all the time, farming does not pay. Farming does not pay. It's because no one really takes it seriously as a business. That is the average farmer. But not, of course, not all the farmers. Because if you go to the other kind of farmers, they're making a kill out of farming. So what is the problem? It's about a shift. You know, there needs to be a shift in the mindset from agriculture to agribusiness. You'd rather not have cows, but have a patch of strawberries that is making you money, than have cows because culturally you're expected to have cows. Yes.
Okay. All right, done.
Okay.
You need to come back to Kenya. Can see your mind is far. You're importing clothes from Turkey. Well, you're seated here.
Karibu nikuwe mpenzi
I can see your brain is in Turkey.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Gerald.
Okay. Just confirm that you can hear Dandan. Not want to say Mike, please. Click the sounds worship. Confirm that Dandan is audible enough. Okay. Dandan, zungumza na wananchi.
Okay, thank you, Gerald.
So we want to get back to what you do because we have not done your intro properly. If you can take us back to what you do, what you engage in, where you do it from, such things.
Okay, as I was saying, thank you, Gerald, for hosting me in the Taco. And also, as a company, we are so proud to associate with you.
Thank you.
And since day one, when we worked together, it's been a journey that it's been very, very fruitful.
Thank you.
And I want to send my grateful thanks to you and the show. As you've heard, my name is Dandan, but Niko kwa ID is Dan RUTTO. I run a company by the name.
Jasema Kimurgor. Kwa nini umeacha Kimurgor?
Oh. Like Kipkorir. Right. So I run a company official wear and also an apparel shop known as D-Square Official Wear. As I was listening to her that they are doing 10 years, I'm looking forward to when I'll be saying that we are 10 years in business. But currently we are running, this is our 4th year in business.
Congratulations.
We basically deal with fashion for both ladies and men. And we are located in Eldoret, that is Wasingishu County, in a building known as KT's building, 4th floor. That is where we are located. And currently we do both imported suits as well as tailored. That is, we make our own suits for D-Square. So if you have anything, any design that you need, definitely we can pull that through. Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, and I would want to know, there's a direction I would want to take with you, Dan, and it has to move around employment that you're creating. Every other person right now, it's a campaign season, and every other politician who is running for something, including me a little bit, is promising jobs. Every other person around is promising jobs. We want to create jobs, and you're right into it. You've given young people. I was at your place at the time, and I was saying you've done a whole floor of a receiving center, and there are young people working there every day. Worship, please request the guys down there to reduce the noises, please. A lot of noises. All right, so it's about employment, and when you talk about creating employment, we look at it as a phantom thing, something so big, it's crazy. We keep talking about every 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it's about creating employment. In your own space, I'm pretty sure you're providing employment to some young people. I want to know, first of all, how many people are those that you're employing there?
Currently, we have staff of around 15 members of staff.
Na ongeza sauti, ongeza ugali.
Yeah, I'm saying that we have at least 15 members of staff. And to go back to your question,
yes,
I think about employment with regard to politicians and what have you, it has been a seasonal promise, I can say. And we keep on promising, or we keep on saying that when I get this position, I'll provide a certain number of jobs. But it is a challenge that I want to pose outside there, that sometimes when you keep on waiting, or when you keep on expecting from probably our leaders and as a government, sometimes they might not achieve what they have promised. But the question is, as we are waiting for the government to do something for us, the question will be that I want to pose outside there, what are you doing as far as you are concerned as a person. Because if you keep on waiting, then it means unasikia yenye anasema mtu, unakutana mtu anasema at the end of the day nafanya kazi ya kutafuta kazi. And it is a challenge that a lot of youths are going through. Unafika mtu, you've been a lot, but the question is, when are you expecting this job? It's something that you cannot tell that by next year December I'll be employed, by next year January I'll be employed. So in the meantime, as you are looking for a job, then you need to find something to do as far as yourself or as an individual you are concerned. Because the moment you wait for the government, or the moment you wait for so and so to give you a job, then apparently that might not come through in one way or another. So it's something that I pose outside there, that don't wait for somebody to come through for you. Then it is upon you to use what you have at hand to get what you don't have. Because in the long run, you'll find that when you keep on waiting, it might not come. But when you find something to do along the way, it might come. So try to create an avenue whereby you have something. And somebody said that the fountain of every youth, or the fountain of every individual, is in three things: either the mind, either creativity, or talent. So find that if it is not in the mind, that is as far as the profession that you went to school to do is concerned, then it might be in creativity. We've seen people who can sit down and draw very well, and they earn a living from that. You've seen people who can sit down and even do the crocheting. You've seen a certain mama the other day who did a very nice scarf, and at the end of the day, she is feeding the entire family from just doing those scarves from the hoosies and what have you. And then also you've seen talent. In one way or another, there are people who have talent, but in one way or another they have not invested in that talent because they believe they went in school and their line of success is in profession.
Yes.
But I want to challenge that if you have a talent that you've not exhausted or you've not invested in, it is a high time, because every year or even after every 6 months, there are a lot of graduates that are coming out of schools. And there are people who are coming out with degrees, there are people who are coming out with masters, there are people who are coming out with PhDs, because you can hear a lot of stories. People have PhDs, people have a lot of papers, but they are still tamaking. So it is a challenge that it is something that is growing. It is something that is because the number of opportunities that are outside there, as far as employment is concerned, are limited, but a lot of people are coming out. So it is about demand and supply. So the demand is limited, but the supply is continuing to grow. So it is a challenge that I can pose outside there, that as far as you're waiting for a job, try to find something to do.
Yeah. Right. There's something also that has been avoided, and I want to have a very candid conversation with you on this. And when we talk about jobs, we talk about collar jobs, like this one's now I'm doing here. I'm always in a tie, in a good suit. When we talk about jobs, every other person wants to perceive or look at a job like that. There's an industry that has been avoided. That is the industry of techniques, what you do with your hands, like what your fundis do, kushona. And people imagine that when you're doing those things, you don't get to earn what you want. And I was actually shocked the other day when I heard you saying that your average tailor earns almost 45,000 a month. I'm pretty sure there's a graduate, a PhD holder, who is not even getting any close to that. So there's this industry that has been avoided, the technical industry. What's your thinking around it?
I want to also appreciate the government in one or another, because we've seen growth in vocational training, which is something that it contributes a lot to the technical training and what have you. And I want to challenge anybody, because at the end of the day, when you go bank your money, when you are going there to bank as a professional who is working in a certain big office, when you go and bank, let's say 10,000, and a charcoal, somebody who trades in charcoal comes with 10,000, at the end of the day, those people or those two people will bank 10,000.
They have banked money,
but hakuna pesa safi na hakuna pesa chafu. So I want to say that whenever you work with your hands, that is whenever you answer. At the end of the day, there is no dirty money as far as the job that you are doing is concerned. Because, for example, as an individual, I did banking. I did banking and finance, but I'm not seated as a teller somewhere.
Sasa unauza pamba.
Saizi nauza nguo. You get the point. Yeah. So I want to say that as far as you've graduated from those degrees and those certificates, diplomas and what have you, it's very important for you to notice what matters or what will zero down at the end of the day is what is it that pays your bills? What is it that feeds your family? What is it that makes you grow as far as finances are concerned? So let's do away with that mentality that you are successful when you are in a tie. You are successful when you are in a suit. You are successful when you are wearing a good shoe. Because there are people who are successful but hata watambui hata shati because their nature of job is just to do with vest, to do with shorts and
jeans
and not even jeans and naitwa huko kwetu tunaita kinyira. So at the end of the day what matters is what feeds your family and what brings food on the table.
I'd like, before we roll the conversation back to crisis, I would like to get your mind on that, Irene. You are a lady is in an industry that's very unconventional for women, especially construction industry has always been seen or been taught to belong to men. And it would be interesting to know why you decided to get into such an industry. But even before we go to that, all these things that have been avoided. When we talk about work, when we talk about a job, people look at this glittering in an office, swiveling around in a chair, in AC and all that. People don't look at a job or work as something that you want to go and struggle, maybe be in those overalls, being those things and work hard. But it's an industry that is paying much more than a white collar. And most young people, when they say we are waiting for a job, they're waiting to go into an office. Not to be out there installing shingles or tailoring as Dan is doing. Has that perception also contributed to the complaints that we keep having that there are no jobs? Kenya hii hakuna kazi ya makazi ipo, ni watu ndio wako.
I agree also with what Dan is saying, that that culture, I would say it's really a culture that's been there, that the only time someone will deem you to be successful is when you tell them, like maybe Dan, I'm a banker, you know, when you say I'm a banker or I'm a pilot, everyone is like, wow, that's really cool. But that's not the only way to make money. You can make decent money through other jobs, like we have carpenters, and surprisingly they are earning just as much as Dan is talking about. And so that for me I think is really introducing decency in work, that we are not just looking at work as white collar, that we are also looking at we are looking at work not just as white collar jobs but blue collar jobs, and TVET programs, I do agree they are helping a lot. And when the earning is also good, like I always encourage even contractors and everyone else that pay well to, if we are working with the masons or you're working with carpenters, or in our case when we are working with carpenters and roofers, give them what they need to be paid. Don't underpay the people, because then when you underpay them, now we continue with this kind of mentality that these jobs are not well paying, the jobs cannot sustain you. But when we pay them what they deserve to be paid, and I commend Dan for that. I hadn't heard of many. I actually was also surprised, because I didn't know how much a tailor earns, and you realize that they are earning good money, that with proper savings and all that they are able to do something useful with their lives. Again, we also need, you talked a little, and maybe I can touch on that, on the government and the politicians and the promises that they are making of jobs creation. And I think we have also to look at it in another way. How we have to, when somebody says, I'm creating more jobs, can we ask how they're going to create more jobs? Because to me, the easiest way for an economy to grow and for jobs to be created would be just having an enabling environment for business owners. Don't kill them with too many taxes. Give them proper infrastructure, give them proper incentives, lower taxes wherever possible, so that you are also feeling incentivized to employ more people in your business. Like now, when you know that, I'm happy with the lifting of the cafe. I keep saying about that, because now even transport, logistics have become easier. So if you can serve more people, then you can employ more people. But I don't see how the politicians themselves are going to really be instrumental in creating the jobs. The jobs have been done by us. We are the entrepreneurs, among others, of course, who are out here with us. And it's the environment that we need to make sure that even people, when they are paid, issues like healthcare, people find it hard to spend on even a beautiful gym like this one where we are at currently, this kind of a really an exciting place, but they'll find it difficult to come and pay their money here because they are thinking, once I pay for my education, the education of my children, I pay for, let's say, my medical bills. These are things that are taking food as well. By the time I'm done, I have nothing else left to spend on any other activities. And yet we know that we need this kind of activities to, of course, keep generating new businesses and as well as become more creative. But the idea of after work, you have to go home because the money is not enough to do anything else. I think we need to put these politicians, the next politicians that are going to be into power, to tell us exactly how. Let's not just clap. I was watching something and politicians was promising, I will do this for you yesterday on the news. And so many people are clapping, but nobody is asking, how will you do this for us? And I think also it's our role, as entrepreneurs to start asking these questions. Tell us how, and then we can have ways that we can measure how it's going to be done. If we say we are going to grow TVET, you cannot grow TVET also in the absence of entrepreneurs, because we know the latest technologies in what we are dealing with that we require. So engage us also so that we are part of this journey in the TVET program, so that we are not training on tools that were probably used the last time 10 years ago. Now there are better technologies of doing things. And to me, that's how I think we are going to move the country forward.
All right. And even as we move forward, I think isn't it time then we also start talking about work instead of jobs? You talk about creating work or giving an environment where people can work instead of saying we'll come and give you jobs. Then it becomes a dishing, like a dishing narrative, a dishing way of making promise. I don't know. Is it time we start talking about work and not jobs?
Yeah. I was hoping you asked me that question. Because agribusiness is one of those places that have been really, I can say it has been underrated. We say our country's backbone is in agribusiness. Okay, actually the statement reads, Kenya's economic backbone is agriculture, which is wrong. We should shift the last word to agribusiness. Why? Because that way we'll be giving room for innovation, we'll be giving room for business, like, money in, money out. We'll be giving room for expansion, we'll be giving room for, because when you talk about business, entrepreneurship, which ties back to innovation,
Yes.
So a lot of youths cannot imagine themselves being in the agribusiness sector. Myself, I was one of those youths until I found myself there. Now, again, there's always, when as a youth you get into agribusiness, people want to drag you down again back to where your parents were. You have to be in production. But I'm saying our parents still own the land. They still own the systems of production. As a youth, you cannot own land today, like a 21-year-old graduated the other day. Where will you go buy 100 acres? Nowhere. But you have a skill that you can put into agribusiness to make it work for you and work for your parents. I always like using that. And there's a term I'm sure, Gerald, you've come across. I like saying we need to change our agritude, our attitude towards agribusiness. And that is just in agribusiness. I'm sure you could have the same in dressmaking, you will have the same in construction, where by now, yes. And if someone challenged me and asked me, so what are you doing with this agribusiness to make it work for the youth? One, I'm trying to show the youth that there is opportunities along the value chains. Remember the sectors you asked me about?
Yes.
Those are sectors. And then we have what we call the value chain. The pre-production, the production, the management, and the marketing. There are so many things the youth can come in and do. Any youth from any sector can get into agribusiness, and that's why I keep saying change your agritude and then you'll see opportunities. So you can be a marketer, come and market for farmers. You could be an IT guru, come and create systems that will make farmers work more efficiently. You could be a journalist, come and tell the stories that farmers, come and tell stories for farmers by farmers. And you could be a fashion designer. In fact, I'll come to you for farmwear. Yeah, so you see, anybody can get into agribusiness. And lastly, what I'm doing myself as a company is we are trying to get as many youths. I cannot employ 1,000 agronomists today. An agronomist earns an average of say 60,000 a month. That is an agronomist paid by the mega companies, the likes of, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention Syngenta and so on. Those are like global companies that are product based. They can afford to pay agronomists at their sales or other products, product people, and pay them. But now an agronomist, in the very work that they do, come, check on the farm, assess what is happening. It's very hard. Even government is trying to pay extension service providers, but you know how much they're being paid. Very little. So I say, I cannot pay you as the big companies will, but I will create a system for you whereby, like an Uber of agronomists, as a young person, you have a chance to apply your skill and your talent and your knowledge and hopefully grow yourself from there. I cannot promise the job, but I'll promise the opportunities for work. And that's back to your question. How do we create work for these people?
We need to talk more about work. Anyway,
Yes.
I want to look at some of the comments that we have. Comments that Kipchumba Kipwambako from Australia is saying, in Australia and other developed countries, plumbers, electricians, fabricators, and bricklayers are the richest people around. Those guys earn $150,000 versus say a nurse or a police officer who earns half of that. Okay. That's talking about industries in Australia. Good morning to you all the way from America. Kipchumba also says, great point from Dandan. Time to use talent and motivation than just wait for government or private sector. Very inspiring. Kibra, the poor continue being poor because of being attached to money. Okay, good morning. Good morning, asante sana. Nani mwingine hapa? Oseko, those guys were talking about sound, but sound is now back on. Bwimbwi, I can see you there. Asante sana. Dan, you've been 4 years in business. So that before I go to now, unajua kuna asa REXE ni baba yao ama ni mama yao. Since now it's already 10 years, they've been there for 10 years, so they're able to tell us what they have been through. But in these 4 years that you've been in business, what are some of the biggest hurdles that you've had to go through?
I think if I can zero down, that is get down to challenges as well as crises that we've come across as a company, and we always find that for any business, the sustainability or the going concern is determined between year 0 to year 5 in most cases. So find that there are a lot of challenges that will come in along the way. Number one, definitely we'll have the financial challenge, because that is a point whereby you've invested some amount in this business, and then this is a point whereby you're trying to break even. You're trying to meet your daily expenditure, and at the same time you are trying to make the business keep going. I think the most challenge that a lot of people will go through, that is the financial challenge that you go through, and then I take also experience as another challenge, because this is a time where most you take as a startup, and in this time, assuming you've not been in this business, you experience new challenges each and every day. So find that in terms of experience, you are limited in one or another, because this is a business that you are getting into. This is a business that you are barely 1 year, you are barely 2 years, or you're barely even 3 years. So find that those are challenges that you come across every day. And another challenge that you find that a lot of people will go through between these years in terms of management, because there are a lot of young people say there that they can start a very lucrative business, but in terms of management, since they don't have the experience, they don't have the exposure, it becomes a challenge. So find that managing a business is very key in whatever the size of the business. If it is a small business, if it is a big business, what matters is the management. And then at the end of the day also, you find that in terms of staffing, that is in terms of human resource, you find that it becomes a challenge, because at the start you might not get the right people who have the same burden, who share the same idea as you. So find that at the start you find that you keep on struggling in terms of getting the right people, the right minds to work with, because people, we tend to confuse between qualification and the vision that you have. Somebody might be qualified for that job, but they don't have the vision that you have. they don't have the passion to run what you have. And whenever somebody is qualified, will just come in so that he can earn from what he's doing. He can earn at the end of the month. But the moment you get people who have or who share the same vision, or people who have the same burden as far as your line of profession is concerned, then that is going to take you a long mile. And that is why I always ask and challenge everyone that as far as you are an employer or you have people who work for you, then it's very important for you to share with them the vision that you have as far as that company is concerned, so that when they'll be working, they'll not be working for the paycheck, they'll not be working to earn, but they'll be working to grow their profession as well as to grow the company. Because at the end of the day, it's not about, because me, I'm seated here, there are people who are serving my clients, there are people who are working. So I find that the company is not about Dandan, the company is not about me as the CEO, but the company is theirs. So it's important for each and every employer or any other boss to make sure that you hand over the burden to them. Let them run with the agenda. Let them run with the vision. At the end of the day, you'll find that you don't have to be there for the company to run. You don't have to be there for success to come through, because you've envisioned the company with them. You've tasked them with the relevant duties. So at the end of the day, you'll find that the challenge of management become easy to overcome. So there are a lot of challenges that will come in. There are natural challenges which at some point you don't have anything to do with them. At some point you don't have any control to do with those challenges. And such as COVID was a challenge, by the way. And those are things that you don't have much control about, because it cut across the industry in some. So there are a lot of challenges, but those are some that might come along for startups and young businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Irene, it's been 10 years. I would want to know, what are some of the hurdles that you've had to face in the industry?
So we have to use this.
Yes.
So
I hope you switch it on. Yes.
Yeah. So
You have two voices on you.
yeah. So there's been quite a number of them, but maybe I can just highlight, of course, and I'm sure this is not unique to our business. They are always the same ones when you're looking at the business at its growth level. So, of course, there's the need for more capital. You know, when you're starting, and people are also not having as much expectations from you when you're a startup, but when you get to a certain level, then people start asking for, the clients rather, they start demanding for more from you. Like when we set up, it was really mainly just about roofing. So we had roofing products, and that is all we were mainly dealing in. But then we'd have clients who would come in and say, okay, you're telling us that your products are environment friendly, we can harvest the water, but where are the water harvesting gutters? We have decking for our shingles, let's say for example, but we didn't have the decking in stock. So they ask, now you're telling me I need this, but you're sending me somewhere else to go and purchase these items. So the business really, you kept being pushed to offer everything that you're talking about, which is also good in its own way, but of course it creates additional need for, I'd say, inventory capital. But the advantage is also when you do set up the business, like Dan is saying, and it starts to grow beyond you, like you're not, if you sleep, the business is not asleep, then, and you have proper, I would say, a financial record set, then it's easier to work with financial institutions who are there also to bridge the gap. And I know also the government is trying to see how to offer more support to SMEs in terms of probably reduced interest rates. I think it's still under the works. I don't know how far we are going with that. But yeah, that has been one of the major issues. We also have staff issues. Like we keep saying, you cannot run a business by yourself. It means that you need people that are able to carry even better the vision that you have beyond your capacities. And we've had those challenges because sometimes we find that the institutions that we are having, most of the people coming into the job market, let's say from the learning institutions, have very little interactions with businesses. And so it becomes a bit hard to bring that gap between probably the skills that they have and what exactly your business requires. we did find a way out. So, and I think one of the ways that we were able to mitigate that is to have really a better hiring process, which I'm sure everyone requires. Don't hire so fast. Take your time, and of course have the parameters that you are looking for before you get new teams in place. We are in construction, so there are other issues that have affected our business that are really to do with the industry. Infrastructure. Some projects you cannot even access them. So you have some nice superhighways, but there are no access routes. Yeah. So we have those challenges, and we hope that the government is addressing that, because anyway, that's really their role to give us better infrastructure when it comes to the projects that are coming in. We have issues also. We face issues with security, because not every site wants to have a security guard that they have to pay, and these are challenges that probably, I don't know whether they are unique to our business, but they are there, whereby you find that sometimes the goods, you've transported them, but what is being received or what has been delivered, you have those kind of issues. But the good thing is also technology now is coming in, so you can monitor your project even when you're in Nairobi. You can monitor your projects in Eldoret or wherever it is that you are. So that is helping, embracing technology in the businesses. We also have had the need to be quite innovative. If you look at our line of business, construction is part of the oldest kind of careers that they are. But at the same time, if you look at even this kind of fitness center that we are in, previously you'd find all this is closed down. But now we have light coming through, so there are new products that are coming in, the polycarbonate sheets, and we've had to be pushed to keep up with the times. Yeah, so the 10 years really, I think I'll need a whole show to talk about the journey, because there's really so much challenges. But what I love about it is that for every challenge, we found an opportunity. We found a way to move forward, that it did not stop us.
There's something I'm saying here about fertilizers. And someone is asking, Jane Mumbi is asking, we can't produce fertilizer in Kenya, and it goes into all scope of products that we have in the country. Why can't we get it in manufacturing? Manufacturing as well, just like jobs, has become a campaign agenda. Why can't we get into manufacturing? What is standing between us and manufacturing?
I think let's be realistic. What do we need to go into manufacturing? From my point of view, of course you need land, because where else are you going to set up your plant? What is the cost of land right now in accessible areas? If we even talk about Nairobi, you might spend your whole adult life paying for that land, because land is pretty expensive. So if we look at methods of production, or what we need in order to go into manufacturing, you need resources, you need capital, and then by the time you are done, and I have also to say, sometimes when it comes to manufacturing in this country, there are a lot of bureaucracies. Did you get this certificate? KEBS issued this one, yes, but you also need this one from NEMA. And also besides NEMA, you need KPLC to do this. And all these are very different institutions that we are dealing with. I saw somebody doing a feature on Rwanda and the ease of doing business in Rwanda, and you'd be surprised. Most of these 10, 15 offices you have to go into to get certification for manufacturing are actually offered by one-stop shop, whereby everything is being done online. You can register your business, and in fact it's even free. Like, you're not being told bring 50,000 so that we register your business. Can we borrow? We don't have to travel to the US to benchmark. We can benchmark in the country like Rwanda. Why are they having the ease of doing business that we are not having? So why aren't we producing? Cost of power is crazy. Yeah, so by the time I produce something and I import the same thing, you will be surprised. I don't know, maybe Dan will tell us, and if you can be honest about it. Sometimes to get maybe a customized suit like yours, doing it here locally might be more expensive than just bringing it in, paying the duties and everything else, and supplying the product that is of high quality. So I feel these are the things that are limiting us, and until we have that honest conversation and to see how to go around it, we'll keep saying, oh, we are running manufacturing as an agenda, but we are not giving support to the people that want to do the manufacturing.
Now that you mentioned fertilizer, which is squarely yes. So why can't we manufacture fertilizer in Kenya? First of all, we don't have the intellectual property required to manufacture that kind of fertilizer we see on the market.
You sure?
Yes.
We don't.
We haven't developed ourselves to the point whereby we can acquire that kind of intellectual property. Yes, because you see now, for fertilizer, for instance, it's a product by someone who's patented it. As we know it, DAP, NPK, and so on. But the challenge for us is we have research bodies.
But do we need DAP? We don't need the brand.
Exactly. That's where we're coming. We need the product. We have the knowledge in this country. We have enough universities. We have enough researchers. I'm sure if you went to a depository somewhere, UN, Egerton, even here, University of Eldoret. People have come up with formulas that can be used to improve on our soils, because fertilizer is all about improving the soil and feeding the plants. People have these solutions, which brings us back to government. What are they doing to empower such people to bring that knowledge to light and make it work for us? We need customized solutions for our farmers. We don't need DAP from, I don't want to mention who, but we can have our own fertilizers made in Kenya for the Kenyan farmer, because we understand our problems, we understand our incomes, we understand our soils. It's very possible. So the question is, can we manufacture fertilizer in Kenya? Yes. Probably not DAP, but we can for sure manufacture other forms of fertilizers. There are several companies which are coming up with organic fertilizers from local rock, diatomite and so on and so forth. And those are the people we wish government could hold hands, and make them produce something that will be to the scale of which our farmers can access. I think the multinationals are beating us because of the power of volumes. But if the government really made a deliberate effort to support these companies that are doing something, albeit on a very small scale in this country, we can manufacture our own fertilizers and we can create a lot of jobs for our youths. Yeah, so maybe that was just my response to that.
But even not only within fertilizer, the whole extensive industry, we are struggling with manufacturing in all sectors. It's not only in agriculture. In all sectors, we are struggling with manufacturing. Like you're talking about Dan. Saying Dan to find it so easier to import a suit than to make it here.
Yeah.
When you're running a loss. I mean, it's not just about agriculture. The whole economy, the whole scope of the economy is struggling with manufacturing.
Yeah.
In fact, the company that you used to see, Paretram Board of Kenya today, is dead, and we have Paretram. Almost every other sector is dying. Sugar sector is dying. Seeing farmers in Western Kenya are uprooting sugar again. What is the challenge within manufacturing? What do you think is the problem?
The cost of production.
Cost of production.
Yes, the cost of power, the cost of labor, and so on. And the scale, it's about scale. If you started manufacturing, say, Dan, suits today, how many suits can you do at a time? Because of this power of scale. Okay, maybe I'll hand it over to you.
What she's saying is makes sense in terms of scale. That is the number of suits that you produce. So number one, you find that you are limited in terms of costs, which limits the number of suits or the number of the output, that is the production level. So find that as what they have shared, both Irene and Patricia, in terms of the cost of production is quite high. I can attest to that. You find that somebody will come and say, I need a tailored suit. I need a suit from you. Then give him the cost of, let's say, the selling price of a suit that you've made, which is definitely quite higher compared to an imported suit, then that is when now you'll find that somebody will say, I better buy a ready-made one rather than a tailored one. And what prompts you to make such a selling price or such a price is definitely about the cost of production, because it is relatively high. And then again, you find that at the end of the day, the number of suits that you'll produce will be limited in terms of what Patricia has talked about in terms of scaling. So I want to challenge the leaders and also the government, because there is a tag that they came, Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. As far as they advocate for Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, they must provide a conducive environment for building Kenya. Because when I make suits and you wear a suit made in Kenya, it means you're building Kenya. But the question is, has the government enabled a good environment for building Kenya? That's the question. So I find that what Irene has mentioned about the bureaucracies and all those that you need to have a lot of certification is costly to some extent. And that leads also to whereby you find somebody is looking for an employment, and the certificates that they need to get for them to qualify only to attend an interview is costly. And this is a person who doesn't have a job. This is a person who is looking for an employment. Why do you have to make the cost of getting a job expensive while this person is not employed? So it is very important for all those sectors and the people who are given these opportunities to serve, to see on how they can create efficiency and effectiveness in businesses as well as in employment. So find that it is a challenge that everybody is going through, because whenever you want to start a business, even before you think about stock and all that, there are a lot of costs that are involved, and there is something that is cropping, which is bringing down a lot of young people, is what we call goodwill. It is another cost which is coming up, and you find a building that you want to set up a business. Somebody was there before, and that particular business failed in that particular building, for example. But you find that you are charged goodwill for that
for a business that failed.
Yeah, for a business that failed. So, and that figure is quite expensive to some extent that you even find people asking for 2-point-something million for goodwill. So it is something that if the government can come in and mitigate that particular issue about goodwill, especially in the county of Champion, that is in Eldoret and I believe every other town, because a lot of people are suffering from goodwill. So find that somebody will invest and pay for goodwill, and then when they want to start business, they don't have even money to stock that particular. So find that a business will die before even
it starts. And then again, someone after you, they are charging another goodwill.
Yeah,
okay, understand governor is watching us. So governor, tafadhali, vijana wanalia huku nje, goodwill imeleta shida. And unless they start measuring goodwill on a bag, on a sack, when naye nyumbani, there's no reason why we should continue charging young people, especially young entrepreneurs, goodwill. It's not stock. There's nobody who sells stock of goodwill. I've never seen it, unless kama iko dunia. So please, governor, ensure that these boys, young men and young women are able to do business much easier. I want to remind you again that we're coming to you live from Eldoret, Rupa Fitness Center. Rupa Fitness Center, iko hapa Rupa hapa nyuma tu Rupa. You can get, when you come in here, the facilities that are available for you, for your use. Big Africa Studios, you get to record your music. There's Big Lens Studio as well. Yeah, Big Lens Studio, kuja uende pale. Here, gaming zone. If you love games, you come here and play the computer games. Pass your time. Bring children here to learn more. The one thing about computer games as well, it ensures that your brain is working faster, because you have to think. Big Africa DJ Studio, DJ Academy as well, is one-stop place that you need to be the best DJ in town. And also, we have a swimming pool here. You can even swim at night because it's a swimming pool. Thank you so much, REXE Roofing, for always partnering with us. If you're building, please ensure that you trust only the best to roof your house. And we say this, that your roof is your house's crown. You don't get to do it twice, you only get to do it once. Wakati watu wanaangalianga nyumba kama imejengwa, you don't look inside. You see the roof as well, like, wow, that house is very beautiful. So thank you so much for always partnering with us. Quality roofing, shingles, stone coated tiles, and also UPVC water harvesting gutters. We're also giving you 10% off on all waterproofing solutions, APP waterproofing solutions, and also waterproofing liquids. 10% off in this 10-year anniversary or 10th birthday from REXE Roofing. Go to www.rexeroofing.com. Upige simu kwa nambari ambayo tunaona pale kwenye screen, 07046466 070466 646. All right, so 664. Thank you. Somebody can call them and have a conversation with them. Thank you also as well, this square. We are always partnering with us and showing that we look the best every other time when you're having a show. You partner with us for a whole year now. I can't even count the number of suits anymore that I'm wearing from this square. Thank you so much for always partnering with us and ensuring that we always look best. And thank you so much as well for the clients, the tacklers who have been with us. You keep this going because you can invest in those businesses. When we come and advertise a business here, munaenda munanunua kwao, you buying roofs, you buying clothes as well from this square. We come to you live from Eldoret, and we're talking about running a business in times of crisis. And as we head towards our last leg on this, I want us to delve into that. What does it take to run a business in times of crisis? Because I think that's what really separates the wheat from the chaff. It's easy to run a business any other time of the day. When it comes to running a business during crisis, I think it calls for a bigger commitment. And I want to start with you, Chep Korir, then we'll end with Irene.
Okay.
How has it been like? We are recovering from a crisis. 2 years of COVID-19, curfews, movement restrictions and all that. What does it take to run a business in times of crisis?
Okay, I'll speak first from my point of view as someone in the agribusiness sector. With the crisis that is COVID-19, I think it was one of those sectors that fortunately stayed afloat because people needed to eat despite having a crisis. So from the point of view of farmers, of course, farmers were able to still sell. Maybe the route to market was a bit difficult because logistics was a problem. The outlets for which they used to sell their produce, supermarkets and so on, were closed. But then people kind of quickly got creative around that and farmers were still able to sell their produce, in fact at premium prices, because there was not so much importation from the immediate neighboring countries, that is Tanzania and Uganda. So for farmers, I could say they kind of made a kill. But now we are seeing the aftermath. Fertilizer prices are high because of the same problem globally. In terms of service providers, of course, we went down because people became self-reliant. When you don't have income from somewhere else, and remember what I had mentioned earlier on, a lot of people that got into agriculture at that time were people who were doing it as a side hustle to supplement for their loss of jobs in other sectors. Yeah. So these people, when they came into agribusiness, they didn't have the kind of money that we probably as service providers wanted to charge them to offer our services. So we suffered that, but we quickly adjusted. So for service providers in agribusiness, I could say we quickly adjusted and came up with other innovative ways of still offering services, using tech, using different methods really. And then for the farmers, they made a kill, although the route to market was a challenge. So innovation, adjusting, pricing changes. You have to kind of price your product at a lower, give it a lower price to be able to reach the people already suffering. And that's basically, in a nutshell, I think I'll come back to that. That's how we kind of managed to adjust to the crisis. But then if you look at it as an ongoing concern, I could say my business has always been a business of trying to solve a crisis. Because when you're offering services to farmers, every farmer who comes to you is a crisis waiting to happen, or is a crisis in itself. So how have I adjusted as a person to this? We've as a company, we've come to learn the power of responding on our toes. We can't afford to wait until tomorrow to make a decision. We need to be able to make decisions on the go. And that's something I've trained myself, and I've trained my agronomists, that whatever a client comes with, whatever direction they're coming from, you need to be able to ready to handle it. Yeah. And innovation and creativity on a daily basis is required. Of course, sometimes you're overwhelmed. Sometimes you have an angry client and you're like, okay, do we call him now? Do we call tomorrow? That's still a small crisis. But it calls for a lot of discipline. It calls for a lot of dedication. You just have to you just have to find a way through it, basically. Okay. Creatively, innovatively, whichever way, find a way. Yeah.
Find a way. Whatever the case, find a way. When I started business, I used to switch off my phones, and I remember that's the first lesson I was giving Dan. We used to have a lot of crises with Dan when we started working together, and every other time Dan could not meet his word, he could switch off his phone. I was like, "Mada lazima mpaka sahi." So I remember when I started business back then, it was easy to escape, to be an escapist. When there's a crisis, you're like, let whatever happens, I need to go down for some time. And you realize that by the time you're coming back, you're dealing with a bigger crisis. Because the client you're running away from, who was hungry at that time, is even more hungrier now. The hunger has gone times 10. Now you're dealing with a worse crisis of what you do not do or what you do not meet. And you find that most of the times when you're doing business, it's easier to do that. It's easier to run away from crisis than to face it on. And I like what you've said, that you have to face it. You have to find a way to fix it. And I remember when I was having one of those TED Talks with Dan, because he's my boy, I was mentoring him in business. I told him, you cannot afford to switch off your phone. Because even by the time you're getting back to me, I'll be madder. It will be worse. Dan, that is part of the crisis. You've had. At least these days, you pick up and say, Mado, ngoja kidogo. What does it take to run a business in terms of crisis?
I think what you've just mentioned, it is a crisis.
Very big one.
I hate disappointing a client because you find that at the end of the day, this is a brand you're building, and also this is a client that you look forward to satisfy. So sometimes you go to an extra mile of even fearing to disappoint. And it's something that I've learned through the lessons that we have gone through. And crisis is about confronting. It's about dealing with it, because as a leader, you are at the forefront. So at some point, it's very important for you to brace yourself for that, because it's something that comes forth. So challenges will come will come across.
Yes.
Crises will always be there, because on each and every day presents a challenge. Each and every day presents a crisis, and I always believe that behind a crisis there is a breakthrough. Behind a crisis there is growth, because you cannot grow until you go through a crisis. You cannot grow until you go through a challenge. So find that the moment you overcome that crisis, the moment you overcome that challenge, then definitely you grow. You grow by experience, you grow by learning. Because I remember even at some point last year, you find that you are even tempted to close shop, because your staff are here.
Yes.
They are looking up to you. They are depending on you in one way or another.
Yeah.
And you cannot tell them that kazi imeisha, because at some point there is humanity.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it is a natural calamity that has come in. It's something that you didn't anticipate. And as a graduate in finance, I can tell that I've always tried to learn this heart, that there is an aspect of saving, which is something that we need to learn all the way. And somebody challenged me at some point that if you are in an employment, or if you are in business, if you are starting a business, you need to think and say that, what if I don't make a coin for the 6 months that are ahead of me? Am I still in a position to
Sustain
run
the
this
business,
or sustain the business? The same with somebody in employment. When you are employed in that particular position, if you lose job for the next 6 months, will you sustain your living standards? Will you sustain your livelihood for this next 6 months? Will you eat the same kind of food that you are eating? So it zeroes down to what we call saving. It's something that a lot of young people have a problem with saving as far as finances are concerned. So try to have that habit. Try to learn the habit of saving. Because, for example, in last year when COVID came in around February, March, for me, I had stocked, because I know that we are in boom in probably from March, April. So we find that a lot of finances had went to stock.
Yes.
That is, as you are looking forward for a good business in April. But you find that COVID came in, and we depend on events and ceremonies and what have you. All of those events and ceremonies were suspended. So find that you are selling nothing. You have no business and in terms of liquidity, you are less liquid, because now your money is in stock. You find that. So find that it was a challenge to maintain and pay your rents, and also to sustain your staff for the period that are unforeseen. Because for 1 year or so, it's something that we could not predict, because people are looking forward and say that in 3 months we are experiencing lockdown for this period of time. Then we are just optimistic that after some time itaisha. But it's something that prolonged to even sometime this year. And it's just the other day that we are seeing that things are opening up, but gradually. So find that these are things that we didn't anticipate, and all crises, as far as either natural or created, are not anticipated in business. Yes. But it's good to have even advisors or people who can come in terms of when crises come in. Because when you are in crisis as a business, you as a person, you are in crisis yourself. But you need another mind that is not in crisis to help you see things from a different angle. Because when you are in crisis, it means that at some point even your judgment is in crisis. You cannot make the right judgment sometimes. So you find that you need another party or a sound person that will help you to see things from a different angle. So other than what Patricia has shared, I want to say that at the end of the day, you need, if it is a big company, you need a board that will always help you in terms of crisis, to help you mitigate that crisis. But if it is a small business, you need a sober person who will always be there in terms of crisis, and somebody who will have your own interest at heart, not somebody that will have self-interest. Yeah. So that is something that we can input. And
Wow, it's incredible. And I think you mentioned a very key thing in terms of business, and people, especially young people, struggle with is mentorship. Most of us don't get an opportunity to plug into something bigger than us. Has that been a challenge to you?
yeah, it has been a challenge because you are getting into business, or you are in business that it's you and you alone at some point. And it's something that you need somebody of a higher authority, or somebody of a higher intellectual, or somebody of a high experience to hold your hand in some cases, because nobody is an island, and as an individual you are not an island. So you need somebody to hold your hand, you need somebody to guide, you need somebody to advise on critical issues. And at the end of the day, you'll find that there are things that will appear so challenging and so big to you, but to somebody else, it's something that is very small. So it's very important for anybody or any other entrepreneur, either young or old, to always have that higher authority, or a higher person who can directly tell you that you are doing a wrong thing or you are doing the right thing. So it's very important to always have that mentor, of which in this age it's something that people outside there are very cautious to support somebody. I don't want to say that they are very mean. I'm just saying that they are very cautious. And I had, if you are in a position to hold somebody's hand, if you are in a position to advise somebody, if you are in a position to mentor somebody, please do that. Because tomorrow you don't know, this person might be the same person who will even employ your children. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Joel Kipps from Australia. I really appreciate the program. Learning a lot from these brave ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right. Irene, I'd like to come to you. What does it take to run a business in times of crisis?
Yeah, so I do really agree with what has been said, and but also what I can add is in a business there are two kinds of crises. So like this one is for Dan, like the one that was making Dan maybe switch off the phone. That's the everyday crisis. So
Yes.
that is always there. You know, a client is complaining, maybe the bank is calling, and such issues. So for that one is very different on management, because even a key staff can assist with, and I think you did that yesterday. There was a bit of crisis, but you were able to sort us out, so thank you so much. So that one, another key staff can be able to help you, so that you're not the one running everything by yourself and getting so exhausted. We do tend to forget that business owners or entrepreneurs are also human beings, and sometimes everything can be so much, because when the banks want to speak, you are the key person to speak to. When the clients want to complain, you are still the person that they want to talk to. And so one of the things I feel we have to do is also learn how to delegate. Of course, the delegation also will come with training. So you have to equip and empower your key staff members that they are able to run the show without necessarily you being there and you being pulled so thin. Then we have the pandemic. That is a crisis that no one else had lived through. So we didn't have a prior experience on what to do. And I think as a business owner, one of the things I felt was very necessary as far as my company was concerned was to instill hope. Even if you have stock and you have money in the bank, at the end of the day, the business must still go on. It will be terrible if your staff don't know how to handle it, and then they can't sell, so your doors are closed. It would be very wrong for that to happen. So you have to be able to, besides having the technical skills, I think we've been shown that we also need to be instillers of hope. You know, talk to them. I think everybody was worried, especially because so many companies were letting go of staff. And I think one of the first things that we did as the management was to let our people know that, you know, you're not going anywhere. We are going to be together in this and we'll make it work. So that already removed the thought of fear that I might not be working tomorrow. I don't know how I will meet my obligations. So with that already a lot, we we were able now to move forward as a team. And I'm happy to say nobody was laid off in our company. Projects continued going on, of course, observing all the measures that we had been asked to put in place. And that's really, for me, I know the crisis, we are still in the crisis, but now we are better able to handle it than we were when the pandemic hit us. There's also what Dan has mentioned, and I really can't emphasize on that any more than he already has. You need a board of directors. Most people think that the board members also are supposed to be running your business, but it's not true. They may not be there to make the day-to-day, so you're not introducing maybe partners and then later you start fighting, because we've also seen that happen in several businesses where you take partners for one reason or another, then after a few years you're not able to continue with the journey. But you can have a board that is an independent board where you sit maybe once a quarter to just talk through this, to talk through these things. And you, in terms of crisis, you now can have that meeting to see what's the way forward. And these board members do not necessarily have to come from your line of industry. It doesn't mean because you're in construction or you're in media that the board of directors must come from that line. No, let them come from diversified lines so that you have newer ideas and brighter ideas that you can combine in your business. And you can never walk alone. I always say that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, then you go with other like-minded people. So this really helps to know that every burden is not on you, because you're running a business, yes, but you're still human at the end of the day. And the business is an ongoing concern, so it shouldn't stop when you stop.
All right. Business is an ongoing concern. It shouldn't stop where you stop. It's even possible. It's even important that the business outlives you or gets to live beyond you. I'm very proud of you guys that you're doing what you're doing. Proud of you as well, Dan. I've seen you walk through the strides, and I'm happy to report that I'm proud of you as your father. All right, thank you so much, Dan. Proud of you. I've seen you doing what you're doing. Also, Chep Korir, I've seen you being very consistent, and that's what most people lack. Consistency. Leo unashika kidogo jembe unasema hapana. Ni kama hii mambo yangu si jembe. Unaama unasema nimeona Dana akiuza suti, hata unaanza kuuza suti kidogo kidogo hapana. Nimeona kuna mtu anajenga kuna roofing, nimesikia REXE lakini wako Eldoret, hata unaanza kuuza roof. 10 years come and go and there's nothing you can count yourself because you've been doing 15 things. Every year you're doing something different. So thanks so much for sticking in, even in terms of crisis as well, for managing crisis and ensuring that your business has outlived the crisis that has been there. Most business has collapsed during crisis, but you've kept it going and you've ensured that you don't give up on this. I don't just want to give just a last round for anybody who has any comments, any last comments as we close in. We're already at 1 minute past 10. I'll start with you again. You have any?
Okay, thanks a lot, Gerald, for this opportunity. Yeah. It was nice talking to your tacklers. Do you call them tacklers, yeah?
Yes.
It was nice talking to the tacklers and everyone who is watching. Okay, there's just one question a friend of mine has asked. Can I respond to it?
Please.
Yeah, he's asking, am I able to work with the incoming MP to professionalize agribusiness? I think it's all about professionalizing and creating opportunities in agribusiness. Okay, Kipchumba Kipkwambok. Yeah, that's possible. If we can work together. You bring the young people. Of course, we can come up with a working formula. I'm not government. I'm not an NGO. Yeah, there's a fee note attached to that. Yes, we're able to organize your youths, put them into productive value chains. And for you've suggested dairy. Of course, I will have to look for another person for that. And then there is the vegetable. Yes, that one we can do for you. And then for poultry and so on, I can get you guys for that. Yeah, so that's possible, because I know at the moment a lot of politicians are trying to do something that will enable these constituents of theirs to make an income, to basically make an impact for them on the ground. Yeah, so that's something that can be worked on, but not as ourselves as HORTIGRID alone, but we'll have to look for other partners in the sector for that. Yes, and generally as per the topic today, yes, it's possible to outlive a crisis as a business. And I'll reiterate on what I'd said earlier on and what my peers here have said. One, you need to just go with the flow, move with it. Don't be afraid, don't get scared, don't panic. Secondly, get innovative every day. You know, put some level of creativity into what you do to be able to tackle, because that's the spirit of entrepreneurship, really. Entrepreneurship is all about creativity. Create solutions creatively around, you know, and then be very, very client-centered. What are the clients asking for? Ground inasema nini? Yeah, so those three things. Be creative, go with it, and listen to what your clients are asking.
All
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry I had not seen. I had actually not noticed there's some
Yeah.
questions that are coming in. I'm sorry, guys. Kili Kela, good morning, General. Great insights from entrepreneur panelist. Ben Waters, bring this guy, Dr. Julius Kiptanui, one of the director, Jubilee Insurance. All right. Ask him if you have his contacts, please send it to me. Or you can ask him to contact me if you are close to him. Now, Kili Kela, I want to throw this to you, Irene. He's asking from the experience, what is the solution to one financial challenge, i.e., identification of financial partners, cost of credit, etc. 2, break-even prediction, breaking even prediction, and 3, when to delegate, i.e., staffing. Can I repeat again? You have it. Okay, 1 is a financial challenge, i.e., identification of financial partners, cost of credit, etc. Then we can start with that so that I don't bombard you.
Okay,
Very quickly.
so that's really a great question, and I will go back to when I did the Keroche mentorship program. We were for about 4 years then in business, and all the entrepreneurs had the same question: what do I do about finances? Now the thing is this: they are in business, in a legit business, that is, which is what we are discussing on the tackle, I believe. They are all, the ways of raising money are very standard, because we are either talking banks, other institutions such as circles. You can also raise money through circles. You can do it through partners, where you call in shareholders and they contribute towards the running of the business. We also now have the venture capitalists. But these are the same. You can also do a business from your savings, but of course, unless you really had huge savings, at some point those get you will definitely find a place where they are no longer sufficient. They'll be depleted, so you need to raise more. And so that's really the easiest one. If you ask me, I would say it's the bank route. But of course, you need to have traded in business for some time. These days, I think they ask for about 6 months to be able to give you some form of credit. Of course, when you are getting this credit, and this is where maybe especially when you're starting a business, you forget that the cost of the loans or the funds that you're getting, you also have to account for them. So because you can't be everything, unlike Dan, we are all not probably having the financial. Of course, we all did some financial classes, and maybe I can also add that it's important for yourself also as a business person to keep learning and going for training in areas that you feel you are lacking in. But also, because you cannot learn everything, you can also hire in skills and professionals who can help you now be able to. We shouldn't be very afraid, because I know we have the fear of, if I let this person in my business, they'll know everything I'm doing, and then probably they'll run with my idea. Trust me, even if they run away with your idea, at the end of the day, what happens is it can't be you. Nobody can really replicate everything you are doing. And of course, you vet them and probably get terms on how to do this, so that they're able to help you know that this is how much the loans cost you, and this is how much you're going to have to work on your pricing. And really, also Dan mentioned it about trying as much as possible to have some form of security or savings in your business, because business is seasonal, with or without a crisis. Today you sell 1,050 items, tomorrow you're not selling as much as you did last time for whatever reasons. So it's important that you whenever you're doing your budgets, that you're keeping something for what we call here for a rainy day, so that you're not completely left exposed as you're running your business. Then there was the question.
The second one is break-even prediction.
Yeah, no, the break-even predictions really is very different for different businesses. You find, like, even for hospitals, some can run even to 10 years and they haven't broken even, and then after that, it's just it's just sailing. So this, I would say, it depends on your business, and it's important. Most of us, when we get into business, in our line of business, we probably didn't even have a business plan. There was either passion, you're so passionate about this, you can see it will work and the money will come, and then you start learning higher. It's not coming as fast as I thought it was coming for this person. So the business plan, really, this helps you to do the projections on when you break even, depending also on your industry, the uptake of your product, how you are differentiating your product. I think we had said we'll talk about market segmentation, how you segment the market, and these are really aspects that you have to look into before we can tell when is the break even for your business. So this is very independent. We have, again, consultants who help with this, who can be able to guide you on the break even, when it is likely to be. And by the way, also when it comes to
funding. A business plan sometimes in certain lines of business also allows the investors that you are looking into to have the confidence that you know what you're doing. So let's not shy away from the plan. It's useful. It's like trying to jump in this fantastic pool and you haven't had any training. You might likely drown.
Okay. Lastly is one to delegate, i.e. staffing.
What I've learned in my journey into business is that the earlier the better. Really. Again, why don't we delegate? Is because we feel we don't have time for training. But believe me, not having the time for training, because you cannot just delegate. You first have to train the staff that you want to delegate to, the key staff that you want to take up different roles. If failure to get the budget or the time for training is planning to fail. So you have to start with it from the beginning. Like I recall, and I always say, I started the business really by myself, where I was running around, doing site visits and all this. But at some point, it becomes really hard because a client may be looking for you in the office. You took their deposit, they've come to change a color of choice. Maybe now they want red shingles, and you are there in a different city trying to sell. And so this creates a lot of confusion. So start the business already with the mind that you need at least 1 or 2 people that you can delegate to, and then train them. Let them not bring their culture into your business. Set the culture early. I know in this lifetime where we are not taking seriously corporate communication, but there's still a way your people should be communicating to the clients. Like, you don't expect them to just say nipo aniaje. I mean, yeah. So these are things that we take for granted, but we have to train so that you're not getting shocked when you hear your client, your key staff telling a client, when ngoja nitakukall, and then you're like, huh?
Ambia client aje buda.
Yes. So these are things you start as early, even on day one if possible. But with the first mind, start with the plan that this business is supposed to outgrow me, and therefore I have to delegate as soon as possible. Of course, there are also issues of funding where people wonder, will I be paying a staff when I haven't even started paying myself a salary? And I'll say yes, if they are worth it and you give them some good KPIs, that you are able even to bring in more as opposed to when you're just working by yourself. So have the mindset to delegate as soon as day one of your business.
All right, from day one of your business. Okay. There's a question here answered by Chep. The question is she able to work with the incoming MP just with professionals, agribusiness, especially for women and youth? What is the opinion on value addition, especially on dairy products and as well as mixed vegetable products? Does a market for the said products exist, especially in our region? What is the opinion on value poultry and egg business, especially for women? Is it something viable? I think she's already answered that. Just as Lelmengit, in Kenya, we have enough number of skilled youth in different professionals, yet they don't have jobs. Thank you, Gerald and team, Patricia, Irene and Dan, for highlighting the employment plight and also giving direction on how to deal with it. Remember, private sector is the biggest employer currently. Therefore, I strongly urge my fellow youth to consider startups and seek advice from these experienced champs. No human is limited. Thank you so much, Jose Lelmengit. Kipchumba Pwambok, labor cost shouldn't be an issue in Kenya, given the fact that we don't have per hour pay. We also don't have a concrete legislated minimum pay per hour or per day. The biggest issue in Kenya is lack of support from government, cost of electricity, processing of raw materials. Okay. Because here Arab Chemoimet, you forgot to invite his CEO, Maxwell Kiptanui, CEO and Director, Mr. Horticulture, a very brilliant young guy from Soy who has helped farmers in Kenya and Ethiopia. Right? Share his contacts, we'll be able to reach out to him. Tunaweza fanya kazi vipi pamoja. Jose Lelmengit, I believe the proposed bottom-up economic model by the UDA team will be able to sort out this mess by providing both financial and support and sustainable direction for startups. Only if proper legislation is done to guide the process. Asante. Chemutai insight from the panelist. The mindset is brilliant and should be embraced in all communities. All right, thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure having you. I can see Grace Kamau as well on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure having you on the Common Sense edition of the 15th of November 2021. We've been coming live to you from Eldoret Rupa Mall Fitness Center, and we've highlighted to you the facility that you can find here. Beautiful gyms, CrossFit. As for Captain, there's a new CrossFit here as well. We have studios. We have We have also a beauty center here. Anything, one-stop shop for you. Just come in here. Utaweza kupata. Ukiona pale nyuma pia, behind me there's videography, photography, event coverage, corporate live streaming, and real estate. Whatever you're seeing us having here today, we are on set, courtesy of them, and so they can ensure that you get all these things in one room. Very quality production and quality streaming services that you can see. As you can see, if you can hear us and you can see us, that it means they're doing a good job. Thank you so much as well, REXE Roofing, for always partnering with us and ensuring that this show runs every single Monday. And thank you as well for considering Eldoret as one of your markets and putting up a center here. Thank you so much, Chef Korir, for coming in. And Dan, asante sana. Thank you for always coming in. So if you want to dress and look well the way we do, go to Ketia Building, 4th floor, Wongena Dan. We're also giving you extending discounts from the tackle at Pale D Square. Wanapea discount yao pia when you go there, useme tumekutuma. Na pia REXE Roofing is giving you 10% off waterproofing solutions, APP waterproofing membranes, and also waterproofing liquids. Kimbia pale REXE Roofing, you can call them. Alafu ama wende pale kwa website. If you want to make a wide range of choices for your roof, you can go to www.rexeroofing.com and then you get to choose the profiles that you need. It's been a pleasure having you. This has been the Tackle 15th November 2021, the Common Sense edition, and we hope to see you again tomorrow on the State of the Nation with Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru. Kesho tuko na Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, so please join us tomorrow morning. Keep this running. If you have any questions as well for Governor Anne Waiguru, who made a switch the other day, now she's more yellow than yellow. Masla Nation, she'll be coming in tomorrow on the State of the Nation. She'll also be telling us what she's doing in Kirinyaga County and what plans she has post 2022. Where will we be seeing her post 2022? So see you again tomorrow on the Tackle State of the Nation edition with Kirinyaga Governor Honorable Her Excellency Anne Waiguru. Until tomorrow, bye bye and see you. This is the Tackle and it ends now. Bye bye.